Hey everyone! Today we're going to tackle something that is honestly a total game changer for anyone who writes Python. We're talking about how to turn your code into a real, full-blown interactive web app in just about 3 lines of code. Yeah, you heard that right.
No, seriously? Just stop and think about that for a second. All those awesome scripts you've written, the data tools, the machine learning models, what if you could just share them with anyone, anywhere in the world, just by sending a simple link? And the best part? You don't have to learn a single thing about web development. That sounds kind of like magic, right? Well, it's very, very real.
And look, this gets to a pain point that I am sure so many of us have felt. You build this amazing piece of Python code, it does something super cool, and then it's just stuck. It's trapped on your laptop, living in your terminal, and sharing it is a total nightmare. You either have to walk someone through setting up Python and running it from the command line, or, build an entire web front end from scratch.
Okay, so that's the problem. And the solution? It's called Gradio. Gradio is this fantastic Python library, and its whole mission is super simple. Be the absolute fastest way to demo your work. It lets you wrap a nice, clean graphical user interface, a web UI, around pretty much any Python function you can think of. So before we even look at a single line of code, let's just get the big picture. The whole philosophy here boils down to these 3 simple steps. 1, you have a Python function. 2, you tell Gradio what goes in and what comes out. And 3, you launch the interface. That's it. That is the entire idea in a nutshell.
And getting started? It's exactly as easy as you'd hope. It's just a regular Python package, so you just do a pip install Gradio. That's it. You can do this on your laptop, in a Jupyter notebook, Google Colab, wherever you're already running your Python code. All right, let's dive in. Step 1, the function. We're going to start super simple with a classic hello world type of thing. This function is called greet. It takes a name and it just returns a string, hello, plus whatever name you give it. But the key thing to remember, and this is really important, is that this could be any Python function. Seriously, anything.
Okay, now for steps 2 and 3. This is where the magic really kicks in. This is the heart of Gradio. All we do is create an interface. We pass it our function, tell the input is text, and the output is also text. Then we just call .Launch. And boom, that's it. 3 lines, and we're done. So let's just zoom in on that line for a second. It really all boils down to these 3 magic ingredients. You've got fn, which is just, your function. You've got inputs, which tells Gradio, hey, I need a text box for the user to type in. And outputs, which says, and I need a place to show the result. That's the whole recipe. And the moment you run that code, bam, this is what you get. Gradio just instantly fires up a little web server and gives you this super clean, totally functional user interface. It'll pop up right in your notebook or in a new browser tab. You get the text box, a submit button, a place for the output, everything. And you wrote zero HTML or JavaScript. Okay, but what if you want a little more control? Maybe make it look a bit nicer. Super easy. Instead of just passing the string text for your input, you can use an actual Gradio component, like gr.textbox. And this unlocks a ton of options. You can add a proper label, some placeholder text to help your user. It's really flexible. All right, so hello world is cool and all, but let's be real. That's just the warm-up act. Let's really crank this up a notch. What happens if that Python function isn't just sticking strings together, but is actually running, say, a powerful AI model? Yeah, let's try to build a UI for something like GPT-2, a real text generation model. So you'd have your function, right? It would probably use a library like transformers to load up the model. It would take some text as a prompt, and then it spits out whatever the model generates. Now, inside that function, there's a lot of complex stuff happening. But from Gradio's point of view, it's still just a plain old Python function. And this is the aha moment. This is the absolute magic of Gradio. Just look. On the left, you've got the interface code for our simple greet function. On the right, the code for the super complex GPT-2 model. See it? They are practically identical. The only thing that changed was the name of the function we pointed fn to.
And that right there is the key takeaway. The pattern, the logic for building the UI, it doesn't change. It doesn't matter if your function is adding 2 numbers or running a massive state-of-the-art AI model. Gradio creates this beautiful separation, so you can just focus on your Python code, and it handles all the complicated web stuff for you. So why is this such a big deal? Well, it means you can spin up a great-looking demo for your work in minutes, not days. You don't need to know anything about web development. It works right where you're already comfortable, like in a Colab notebook.
And maybe the coolest part of all, when you hit .launch, you can get a temporary public URL to share. You can literally just send a link to your friend or your boss, and they can try out your live app right there in their browser. So there you have it. You now have this incredible superpower in your Python toolkit, the power to bring any function, any model, to life as an interactive web app almost instantly. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build first?